Hard stuck diamond? Not anymore. After hundreds of games without progress, I climb to master in just 13 games with only one comp, Dynamo Flex. This is game 5 of the climb. Full match, full breakdown. Enjoy. This time it is an egg opener again, where you can choose between 1 and 3. Last time we got some artifact items, which weren't too bad. Let's see. As I said, you usually want to pick the last one if you've got enough HP. So we get a Draven and a little bit of gold early, so we already have to vine the Draven, and this should most likely be a Cypher opener. Like in the beginning of the game, you always want to sort of check what lines you could play. For example, here it is also the Samundo or Poppy Jacks, so you can either opt for Bruiser or Bastion frontline to play, which is already a very decent start. Although just getting a Draven early and considering how powerful Cypher is, especially also with Lost Streak, that's the usual route you would take here. But I get more gold and a Mordekaiser and just sell everything, because I'm just a very greedy player. Definitely had the option to stay here. Could have even played like 4 bruisers early and just win streaked. Although when you've got a gold start and don't have items, win streaking is always a little bit hard, so you definitely need to scout. And I'm not in the mindset to play White Draven because I just had so much success with the Dynamo Flex comp. I'm just defaulting to it and basically hard forcing it at this point. Because, to be fair, you can literally play it from any spot. So here we got Silver Spoon, Keys and Desist, Latent and Forge. Keys and Desist would be very, very good with the Vi. We'd get her back. And just because we also have a Draven already and can play for the Lost Streak. Like we don't have Cypher right now, but just need to find a LeBlanc. But as I said, basically hard forcing the comp at this point. That's why we picked Latent Anvil, where you get an Anvil after 8 rounds. So it's just a scaling option. And we expect to lose streak here. So it's definitely not the play to level. And we should definitely stay on level 3. I think the right play actually would have been to open 4 completely and just keep the Morgana, because we are expected to lose streak anyway. Scale with Latent Forge and can make 20. At least that's one play we could have done. This is totally fair as well, just staying on 10. Economy is still good. But also with the item components, there's like no real way to get any significant strength until golems. There's nothing to pick up in the shop. We basically just want to make 20 here and just chill and ride the Lost Streak. So this guy, Sport is even weaker. So we actually pick up a win, which kind of ruins it. Should have probably stayed open forward and just scouted better. That's why we pick up a win. In our situation, it's very bad because, like I said, our board is just very weak and we've got like no real way to make it any stronger. No Morgana pair, no real frontline. And we can't really make 30 gold here, so we just put golden orcs here and maybe they can generate 1 gold. I'm just banking on like killing a unit. Like if we had a little bit more strength, we could have definitely win streaked here. Loads of guys are playing very weak boards, also not slamming items. But with the gold opener, it's always just very tough, unless you hear a couple of 2-star 1 costs. So for Carousel, we most likely want the Galio. Would be very good here. Yeah, it's 3 gold tier. As I said, looking for Dynamo Flex, where a tier blue buff is just very necessary or just very good. It's not necessary per se. You can kind of flex the items because, as I said in an earlier video, you just need everything from tank, AD to AP items, but tier, the blue buff just stabilizes your board very, very well early. And now it's pretty unfortunate we don't have the Vi anymore, because we definitely want to play Cypher here, which would generate us more gold. Like, we could always potentially even play it, because Galio 3-star is nuts, if you'd say so. Also Draven very good in 3-star, just the comp. With a good cash out, it's most likely the first most of the time. So we make 30 here. Got 2 losses. The win was very unfortunate, otherwise we'd be in a very good spot here. Also have usually killed the unit, so our HP situation is still looking fairly decent. And he's another Draven in the shop, making the Cypher line even more attractive. I scouted and was looking not to win, but to grief it, because the other guy was also very weak, so I put Draven in the front line. Should be the correct player. Because most likely wouldn't have killed a unit from him anyway. Because that's usually the problem with open forting. Because when you open fort, you don't kill any unit and your HP situation just gets very bad very fast, and sometimes it's worth it. It is another Galio. We didn't pick up the second Draven because we are just looking to play for Cypher temporarily. Also LeBlanc in the shop, which just makes the Cypher line being online now. When you're not forcing one specific comp, like I'm at this moment, it would have been a very decent Cypher line. You would definitely play Cypher and reroll it here. Like, of course, need to scout a little bit. Not that anyone is like super high rolling and contesting it. And here we got another LeBlanc. It's just very good. So this spot, 80 HP, still totally fine. We are looking to lose streak further. Trying to kill a couple of units. We got blue buff. Can also just slam it on Draven. And then Infinity Edge will later go on Jhin and then on Miss Fortune. Although if you would play the Cypher line here, it should be Shojin. Should be most likely Shojin. Giant Slayer is also not too bad. The Cypher line looks very decent here. And as I said, when you're not forcing, you should definitely play it in this spot and what the game gave you. Pick up the LeBlanc. Already have 3 pairs, Draven, Galio and LeBlanc. So here, Bad Luck Protection or Blazing Soul just benefits only one, Elise or Miss Fortune. So Mana Flow should be the best of the 3. I'm rerolling here, which is a mistake. Because that was the best of the 3, should have rerolled the others first. Inspiring Epitaph is always a fine option. It's definitely not Bad Luck Protection. Maybe I'm switching them up between the one I also picked last game. And this is the one we picked last game, Mace as well. Very decent option, just gives a 20% critical strike chance and just works very well on Miss Fortune and on Elise in general. And just gives us more items, which we desperately need. And can just slam the last Whisper. And in a fairly decent spot now item-wise. Got 2 items for Miss Fortune already and 1 for Elise, if we hit them. Also playing against the other Cypher player here. I think he also wanted to lose streak. So we sort of ruined it, I suppose. But he's not that weak, to be frank. He's got a Silas and a Vi2. We've got basically nothing. Also because we didn't pick up the pair. And as you can see, my HP situation is pretty bad, so I just slotted the Cypher line in for like 2 rounds, got 5 gold, and I'm already dipping. The problem is, if I'd go 7 here, it would be miserable. Because I'd have no gold left, so I need to take 1 more. I'm even rolling here for a couple of units, maybe even for the Morgana too, which is fine. Although next round should be level 7, and then we want to stabilize desperately, because we can't lose too much more HP. So another bad loss. Can't really afford much more, so we have to roll down to like 30 or 20 gold here on 7. Need to hit Elise, Morgana 2, Braum, Gragas, and Jhin. Especially Elise and Jhin too would stabilize. And here we get first pick and just get the Miss Fortune with this sword, which is very playable. It's just great. Any real use, as I said, we don't have any real use for the spatula. And getting Miss Fortune was just perfect here. Like, now go 7 and stabilize, and we're just in a very good spot, because we already have two items for Miss Fortune. And don't even have to park them on Jhin. We also get our anvil now, which makes us even stronger. Scaling option setting, so we are hitting the perfect window to be very strong. There's the Elise right off the bat. Should roll a little bit deeper still.
Mortality is truly divine.
There's the Braum. Now we're totally set. We can stay on 30 gold here. And should be able to win streak. Just need to give the items real quick. And here, the items, the only really good item for this comp is Trickster Glass, because you can either put it on Aurora or on Zac. Trickster Glass is just very, very good, because when you get a second Aurora, you can't give items to her, but you just get another one on the bench, and she just pulls another unit from your bench onto the board. Here's Jin, so we've got 4 Dynamo now. We even were able to make 40. And sure, yeah, at this point it should go to Darius, honestly. But I guess we pick it on Braum. Darius would have been better just because he's 2-star. Yeah, because I'm so low, I'm dinging a little bit. Need to stabilize a little bit. We're hitting a super early Nunu. And another Braum and Elise pair after Wolves. You definitely have to roll a little bit more on 7. Like, this play is totally fair. In the last game, we complained about a lot rolling on 7 to stabilize, but in that situation we were on like 90 gold, and here we are on 50, so we definitely have to get a little bit of strength right now. Especially also, we don't have any Morgana, any frontline 2-star, so we have to upgrade on 7 before we go 8, because otherwise we'd go 8th place. So there's the Gregors, also 2 more Gallios, so yeah, the Cypher line would have been insane actually. Also would have had good items for it. But we are here now with our Dynamo line, looking for more tank items, but also damage items. Both would work here. So about the Arc, this could be a little bit tricky because of our low HP situation. I think we can make it to 13 rounds, but picking 9 here is also totally valid. And I'm picking the safer option of 9 to spike a little bit earlier, because I'm just kind of afraid I won't be able to cash it out otherwise. So yeah, slamming tag items on Braum. Giving the components is fine here. Could have also slammed Hextech Gunblade here. Would have probably done it if I had Elise Tour already. And so we lost with this guy, who's fairly strong. Kinda greedy, needed to roll a little bit already to hit upgrades. Now we also lost our win streak in that sense. Here several things are fine. Kinda looking good. Support cache could also be good. Don't really like healing in this comp too much. Hero grab back could also be fairly decent. To just hit in a free Elise and Braum. Not sure if that's the correct play to actually pick Pandora's, but also as I said, we just need loads of items for this comp, so I'm not actually sure what would have been the play here. I think every option was sort of fine. We get 3 Miss Fortune items. And it would also be perfectly reasonable to roll a little bit deeper here, because we've got an Elise pair and a Morgana pair. The Morgana doesn't do too much, but the Elise certainly does. But we're sort of in a spot where we are fairly strong. It's just a little bit risky. Yeah, here we don't have the HP to choose split. Also, as you can see, it was 13 gold if you picked it solo, and 25 when you were splitting it, and 5 people chose to split. If I would have chosen it, would have been 6. So only like 4 to 5 gold for everyone. Would have been very, very bad. Would have missed out on 8 gold. So we go 8 here, basically on 3 to 4 lives. I think it's fine, especially because we already got the weaker Arc, which pops after 9 rounds. It's totally valid. We hit at least 2, so we should always go 8 here. Also fairly strong. Need to hit Miss Fortune on 8 though, before we go level 9, because she's got 3 items. Also in the previous game, we didn't really have any Miss Fortune items, so it was sort of valid to skip rolling an 8 and go 9, but here it definitely is not. We need to roll basically to 10 or 0 gold for Miss Fortune, stabilize, and just be very strong. For the items, I guess Tier is very good. Here, as I said earlier, pairing Tier and Negatron for the Adaptive Helm is just a very, very good item on Zac. So we already have 2 to 3 tank items for him. As I said, the glass, the duplicating glass, usually goes on Aurora, or basically always goes on Aurora. A very good item on her. So re-level I should honestly roll a little bit, maybe to 30 gold. But with our frontline basically fully upgraded, even having a Nunu in and at least 2, it's fine, but greedy. Both can work. Just want to keep up in the economy department to aim for first and still be able to go level 9. Because when I'm rolling here, we won't really have that much gold to actually be able to go to 9. Because we are literally just recovering the whole of stage 5 to get back to 50 gold. And we are strong enough to not take a bad loss. Like, we might not win and build a streak, but we definitely don't take a bad loss. And should be still on 2 lives when we hit Raptors, and then we can just roll down. Also in this case, scouting is very important, because when you see you're contested, anyone else is playing Miss Fortune, or even like 2 people, you should definitely roll in this spot to hit it earlier. But I suppose we just natural it here, so just need 1 more. Maybe that's the incentive to roll a little bit. And hitting an Aurora here is very nice. Should be fine. Could roll a little bit deeper for Miss Fortune here, because I'm just too afraid of the HP situation now. Taking another loss, being on 20 HP. Being on 2 lives still, or if we take a worse loss, would be horrible. With Aurora we can even pull the Nunu in, the Kobuko. We're in a super good strong spot now, we are very strong. With our current board, the only real strength increase would be to get at least 3 and a Bromthy, which we're not doing, so we can basically already go level 9 now. And still have a fairly good economy. I was very lucky to natural the Miss Fortune and then just roll down for it. So there's another Elise. At this point we are basically, or we should be, the strongest in the lobby. We just kept very high. Have everything upgraded, except for, of course, Morgana and Aurora, but we'll hit Aurora on 9. Yeah, and then here, having to Aurora pull in our units for our next combat. It's just very nice. Should still get the tank items back on Brom though. And there's another Kobuko. Very nice. So we're in a super good spot to go 9 here. And as you've noticed, I actually forgot that we had Pandora's items. So my items shuffled and I don't have the proper tank items. Luckily, one of them transformed into Varmox, which is also a very good tank item. But this was a huge miss actually. This was a very huge miss. Made us a little bit weaker. Although we got 2 items on Elise now, we're still fairly strong. Well, that's why, don't forget what augments you picked. That's a very common mistake, especially in lower elo brackets. But yeah, like I'm not that high elo yet. Reach master, it's fine, but I'm still missing basic stuff at times. That's also why I'm doing these reviews for myself. Let's see what we got. We got a radiant item. Very nice. Not that good of a radiant item, in my opinion. Like, maybe Zac benefits from it when he's got fully stacked, but I've never really seen anyone build a slam it, except on Rengar 3-star, but he's not very common. And I suppose we've got Pandora's, although the correct play would be to reroll it with our Reforges. We've got 3 of them, and just could speed up our spike. We're looking for tank items here. A radiant tank item would be preferable, because we already got 3 items on our carries, so the front line basically makes or breaks it, and 4 Aurora items otherwise. The biggest bottleneck right now is our HP, because money is slowly building up again, and we want to go level 9 to hit Zac there. So fairly decent item for Aurora, and it's a tier as well, so we've got the adaptive helmet again, because we wrote it earlier. Gizis is fine, but it doesn't really, or it's very good, but doesn't do anything for this comp in my opinion. And he's just a Radiant Rescue Gloves, which is just a very good item in general, especially if you've got a team that needs loads of items, which is this one. It's also just great on Kobuko in my opinion. I know, I also remember this fight was fucking crazy. Here's my live reaction to it. What? 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 Bro, what the fuck? Don't fucking dodge it. What? What the fuck? Giga bullshit. I'm getting a little bit of a flashback to a certain someone here.
There's a bunch of high health clones.
No, I think the Cypher's got it. I can't tell. Wait, no, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, my money on Zed is safe.
Yeah, it looked scary for a second, but
The Cypher's still untouched.
wait a minute.
No, man. The ults.
The healing reduction's gonna come in.
Overtime!
I think it's kind of nice of a reference of how broken Zed was back then. Do you know what Zed it was? Let me know in the comments if you do. At some point in time I still plan to do a history series where I dive into all the different sets and tell the story of them. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. If I'm finding the time and motivation for it. It's definitely on my bucket list though. But let's get back on track with our current game. So we picked Striker's Flail. Synergizes very well. It's also good on Aurora, together with the Jewel Gauntlet. Just need one more tank item for Zac. And of course, a Zac. But we're about to hit level 9. 1-on-1 lifesteal. I'm super greedy, because I just want to cap out the ball. Although you should scout a little bit more, because when there's someone who spikes even harder than that, it gets difficult, and sometimes you just lose it. Like you're 1-on-1 live, but there's just someone who hit a 4-cost 3-star or whatever, and then you just get 8th, 7th or 6th because you're the second strongest in the lobby, but just have an unfortunate matchup. Here we're on 8 HP, and it's looking fairly rough because we still need 60 gold to go 9. I would have loved to waited one more, but now we can't, so we have to go 9. In this spot, only with like 6 gold. Heading a huge power spike with Morgana too, of course. And this is the best we can do, just a Kobuko. Also need a Poppy again. Yeah, and now's the time to scout. Can't afford any bad losses, have to position against Sejuani. And he's got an Urga too. This is a rough matchup. But the Aurora just putting 2 units. In Nuno and then Elise too. Just upgrades the board also significantly, or spike. And we actually beat him. Or do we? Yes, we do. Very nice. We're super strong. This guy should most likely be second strongest in the lobby, as we have now sort of proven that we are the strongest. There's the Kobuko too. Yeah, super strong. Just need a Zac. Although, very unfortunate, we don't have many blobs yet. Also, just putting Zac 1-star, Rennick 1-star, and Poppy 1-star in now for what we have with Brom, Kane, and Darius on 2-star. We would definitely make our board weaker, especially because we lose the syndicate bonus on our Miss Fortune, which has 3 items. So we have to be careful before we transition them in. And a Garen and a Zac. Nice. I shouldn't switch right now. Well, I guess I do, because we get more gold to roll. Get an Aurora. We need a Rennick and a Poppy. There's another Kobuko. Putting Sejuani, Garen in, it's not it. Need to roll, put the Cho'Gath in. Got another Zac. Yeah, our board is definitely weaker now. That's not the correct play. Should have waited around. But get him another Warmox and Zac. And we still win pretty comfortably. Also having a Nuno 2 with 2 radiant items. It's just... yeah, it's just boosting our board strength so much. It's carrying us. Same goes for the 2 Auroras, just pulling 2 more units every fight onto the board. So this is our board for now. It's looking board strength wise very good, HP wise very dire. We need to win everything, and here's the Zed once again. I'm sure it's gonna be great. He's not gonna 1v9 again. So far so good, literally killed his whole board, just the Zeds left. Well, there it comes. It's so funny, man. Luckily we have the Aurora 2 this time around. Makes it way easier. You get a mod, Dynamo mod for Zac, or for Nunu perhaps, but as I said, I don't think he benefits too much, because after he ults, he doesn't get any more mana. So we should put it on Zac with 3 items. And roll to 0 every round now. We need board strength, we need to cap out. Was about to say, should we sell the Elise? I'm not sure if that's the correct play, due to us having 2 Auroras and putting more board strength in. That's why we also, yeah, need to buy another unit. But I think hindsight is 2020. This time it's the correct play, because we hit a Zac too. And definitely it was worth it in that aspect. But if we hadn't hit it, would have made our board even weaker. But it worked out, and we're just super strong now with Zac 2. Kicking people left and right, and it's a top 4 already. Maybe a top 3? I suppose it's the Z player. The Z player again clutching up with his double lifesteal. So here we basically have every item we need. I'm picking anti-hero right now, because we don't have any, which is a fine play. I also think in the game I mistakenly thought you could equip the clone, which I am about to realize is not possible. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about it. It's still fine. Like the anti-hero should put just on Morgana. Or perhaps even putting it on either Aurora or Elise, so we can diminish Zed's healing. I'm also not sure. Maybe the Ziggs was a better play, actually. Putting the Zig instead of the Garen in for the Cyber boss on Nunu would have made him even stronger. Win or loss, he gets decided who's basically getting first. Although it was just a clone, just the ghost. So that should have been the Z player. He's out now. We just beat his clone super comfortably. Although sometimes the ghost is sparked, so you never know. So this last fight, 2 Kobuko's being pulled on is just, yeah, super comfortable. So much CC he provides. The final fight. Mod 3 looking fairly scary. Also having so much items on his backline carries, but we are also super strong. And we actually win super comfortably. Nice. A victory on game 5. Way on our way to Masters. For the main takeaways, it was very important to stabilize on 7, get our bond strength, because in this game we were just very low on HP. Also, when you don't pause one comp too hard, you should definitely play Cypher in the spot we were in. And Rural, Draven and Galio would have worked very well. But yeah, we still pulled through, got it first. Hope you enjoyed. See you in game 6.